Here's Dr. Ben Carson, Trump flunky, appearing on MSNBC, and he's going to do his double talk spin, and I'll point several things out to you as he makes his comments. I mean, this guy, I'm just disgusted with him. I mean, this guy was a beacon for the black community, and to see how far he's fallen in bending over and taking it without the grease from Donald Trump just makes me, just pisses me off.
Former Republican presidential candidate, now an advisor to the Trump campaign, Dr. Ben Carson. Dr. Carson, always good to see you, sir.
My pleasure.
I want to have you listen along with us at the appeal, the pitch that Donald Trump has been making over the last week or so to African-American voters in this country. Let's listen.
What do you have to lose? You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs. 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose? And at the end of 4 years, I guarantee you that I will get over 95% of the African American vote. I promise you. It is a disaster the way African Americans are living in many cases, and in many cases the way Hispanics are living. I will straighten it out. I'll bring jobs back. We'll bring spirit back. We'll get rid of the crime. You'll be able to walk down the street without getting shot. Right now, you walk down the street, you get shot.
So, Doc,
I gotta tell you, he lumps all black people into one category where we're all poor, all of our schools suck, we're all being shot at, etc. Well, I'm one black person here to tell you, I can walk up and down my street no problem. Okay, I don't hear gunfire at night, and I lived in LA, and you could hear the ghetto birds out there damn near every night, and you could occasionally hear shots being fired, and that was actual shots being fired at people and people getting shot. Okay, I live in a great neighborhood right now. My school district is one of the best. We have a great football team. Property taxes in where I live are reasonable, but the schools have everything they need. As a matter of fact, it was last summer that the elementary school, actually that's the middle school that my relatives attend, had all of their central air conditioners replaced, and I mean it was a massive job. Again, I live in a great neighborhood, and I'm going to make the assertion that there are a tremendous amount of black people that live in good neighborhoods with good schools that are employed, and their kids are employed, which my kids are employed. So this guy is pandering to the Fox News narrative of black people being shot at every day, every night, all of our schools being in the toilet, and us being basically unemployed, none of us working. That's bullshit. And Carson is basically going to turn around and try to tell us that we have to interpret what Donald Trump is saying. Why the hell do I have to interpret what he's saying? Why can't I just take what he says for face value on exactly what he's saying? Not Ben, you can't spin your way out of this one.
Dr. Carson, I'll ask you, is what the hell do you have to lose an effective way to appeal to undecided African-American voters?
Well, I guess you have to try to figure out what message is he trying to get across.
Why do I have to try to figure it out? Why can't he just give me the message that he wants me to hear?
I believe the message that he's trying to get across is that for several decades now, particularly in many of our large cities, we a political class in power that purports to be the saviors of the African American community. And yet, what has happened? You see income going down, you see incarceration going up, you see 73% of babies being born out of wedlock, families being torn apart, and just general misery in a lot of areas. Now, this is not to say that that's the case for all or even most African Americans, but our inner cities are an important part of who we are as a nation, and if they are suffering, it's going to be very difficult to strengthen the nation.
I've heard many smart people like yourself make that argument that places like Chicago, places like Detroit, places like Baltimore have been run by Democrats for generations, and look what it's gotten us. But Donald Trump is down 87-8 in our latest NBC poll nationally among African American voters, and that number is even lower in some swing states. Is he wise to spend time trying to win over that vote at this point in the election?
Well, it's not a matter of whether you're trying to win the vote. It's a matter of, are you trying to strengthen the country? There's no way you're going to strengthen the country with a lot of the policies that have been going on for decades now. And he fully recognizes that he's probably not going to get the majority of African American votes the first time around. But if you enact these policies that empower people and allow them to utilize their God-given abilities to climb the ladder of success, I think the next time around, a lot of people will seriously consider whether they are going to blindly follow one party, or are they going to go with the things that really work for them and work for their children. Yeah. You know, there are too many people who try to put everything into a political container. But the fact of the matter is, these issues are issues that affect the strength of our nation. It has nothing to do with Republicans and Democrats.
But Dr. Carson, elections are political containers. So what the hell are you talking about?
Sam Stein here. We've been trying to figure out around this table what the current state of play is with Donald Trump's immigration policy. As an advisor to his campaign, I was wondering if you could answer this simple yes or no question. Does Donald Trump believe that the 11 million undocumented immigrants currently in this country must leave the country?
He believes that if they are here...
Notice he said this was a yes or no question, and Ben can't answer yes or no. So you see how wide his mouth is open there? That's because a ton of bullshit is going to be making its way out of his mouth and into our ears.
Outside of the laws that regulate immigration in this country, that they should leave.
So that's one of the things that we,
well, excuse me, let me just mention this. This is very important. We, for several administrations, not just this administration, have ignored the actual laws that are on the books. Let's apply the laws that are on the book first, and then we can assess what further needs to be done. We haven't even tried that
Just
yet.
To be clear, though, the 11 million people here who are undocumented are breaking the law, and you're now saying that they have to leave because they are breaking the law.
I'm saying let's apply the laws and see what we have left over, and then let's deal with those in a very appropriate way. I can't imagine a Republican or a Democrat who should disagree with that, and if they do disagree with it, I'd like to know why.
Translation: if they're breaking the law must be enforced, and for the law to be enforced, they have to be deported. That's the answer to the question. But because Trump is now getting ready to flip-flop, Dr. Carson cannot say that.
Dr. Carson, within the Trump campaign, among the surrogates in the Trump campaign and the candidate himself, there's been quite a lot of talk, speculation about the health of Hillary Clinton. I have two questions for you. One, what is your observation about her health? I understand you're making that, whatever your answer is going to be, from a distance. But secondly, one of his principal surrogates, former Mayor Rudy Giuliani, has indicated that all you have to do to find out about Hillary Clinton's health is check it out on the internet, the implication being that there's something seriously wrong with her health. So those two questions. What do you think about her health, and what do you think about what Rudy Giuliani is doing?
I think that somebody who is running for president of the United States, particularly if they're elderly, and that would include both major candidates, should disclose their medical history. And I'm not talking about from a year ago or 2 years ago. I'm talking about currently. And I think that again, it's common sense. It makes sense because as people get older, things begin to happen to them.
But the implication from Rudy Giuliani, what do you think about that? Sowing a seed of doubt about a person's health based upon something he read on the internet.
Well, you know, as a physician, physicians and scientists generally will not make a diagnosis based on something that they see from a long distance. They want to have the facts.
And so you would have no diagnosis yourself on Hillary Clinton, Dr. Carson?
My diagnosis would be that anybody who is elderly should expose their records, and we, the people, should know what they are, because it's a very stressful job. It's not an 8-hour-a-day job. It's 24/7, and we need to make sure that that is taken care of.
And you agree Donald Trump should be held to that same standard, because he hasn't done that either?
Absolutely, without question.
Dr. Ben,
thou shalt not call bullshit on thy fellow surrogate of Donald Trump. That's what Ben Carson just did. Oh, Lord.